All right. Good evening, everyone. Just want to see if everything is good. I have my dear friend Liselle here who's going to let me know if everything is great so we could get started. Is everything great, Liselle? All right. For those of you who does not know me, I am Dr. Arlene Binoya Strugar. I am a sports psychology, health psychology, and cognitive psychology consultant. I am affiliated with the Mental Training Inc., based in Dallas, Texas. I am here to continue the second day of our April offering. We are discussing about the subject matter of is weight loss and lifestyle fitness a mental game? We would like to use neuroscience and made it more practical so that we could apply those techniques to our wellness and lifestyle fitness. A while ago, and if you have not seen it, I was actually talking about emotion control as part of our first subject matter. If you are following me, and I will be putting my YouTube channel as well as my Facebook page, I will be glad to put it up. It was the streaming that had happened yesterday on emotional control. So I would like to bring some of our audience, my sister-in-law, Joanna, darling from the Philippines. Thank you for watching. I also want to recognize my good friend here, Lizelle. I don't think she is commenting, so I'm not able to show her comments at this time. I believe that my brother from the Philippines, Coach Edwin Benoya, who owns the Power Station Gym, and also my coach, is watching as well. So thank you for that. So without further ado, I'd like to bring my topic for this evening and morning in the Philippines. So let me just share my screen. While I'm doing that, I'd like to make a disclosure that I am sponsored by Peer Trim Mediterranean Health System. It is a plant-based and organic health system. And I will also put a link here on the products that our athletes use and that I use from Pure Trim. So let me give you guys let me just see here, a recap of yesterday's discussion. Which is here. I have to bring it up to the screen, and now it's side by side. And what I'll do is I'll make myself smaller. Um, just bear with me on this one. I'll do this one on the presentation mode. All right. I'm hoping it is on the presentation mode. Is it in the presentation mode, Lisel? All right. Is it big enough to see? Yeah. Effects are in the way, blocking the view. All right. Let's make this a little bit clearer. So let me take the background off. Sorry, this is I think we could do that one. I think that's much better. Let me see. Okay. Um, Sorry, guys. I'm playing it as if we are. Better. It's better. Okay. And then I'll do this one on a slideshow. All right. I think that's much better. Okay. All right, then. So, let me introduce myself again for those of you who have not um, heard about my who I am and my introduction. My name is Dr. Arlene Binoya Strugar. I am a sports health and cognitive psychology consultant. I am affiliated with Mental Training Inc. I am one of their certified trainers. We are a group of Olympic and sports psychologists, and so we have been in the pursuit of providing science-based, neuroscience-based training to our athletes. So, in today's discussion, I just want to give you guys a recap. If you guys have not seen what I have presented yesterday, yesterday I talked about emotion control and how it's being used to enhance performance and enjoyment. The topic of today's discussion is certainly about the topic of wellness and weight loss. Is it a mental game? And the purpose of today's discussion is that I would like to bring value to everyone by introducing the techniques of that we teach to our elite athletes and Olympians. And so I hope that you'll find some value in this topic, because normally this is a topic that is only provided and closed to um, uh, proprietary to our athletes and peak performers. So here you will see that that is the the legendary Michael Phelps, and he was heard coding how do you get to be mentally tough, and he said that you have to train your mind just like you train your body, which is his motto is no limits, the will to succeed. So that resonated very well with our elite athletes, because you could be bringing obviously your genetics, your training, your techniques, and your discipline. But what makes the other athlete better than you is their ability to train mentally. And so I think most of us understand the concept of training our minds. And so what I want to bring to the discussion is the fact that when we are wanting to embark in a wellness challenge or anything that requires discipline and our mental processes, our mindset, our the things that we say to ourselves, which is unquote quote unquote mental toughness. We have to start with our emotions and looking into the training that we should be doing as well in parallel with our goals. So, in Mental Training Inc., in our website, which I will be providing later on, we have a free test. We talked about, motivation. We talked about coping with pressure, concentration, and confidence. And even though these are geared toward athletes and competitive elite athletes and Olympians, I believe that this is something that anybody can benefit from. So we have four pillars in our training. We have motivation, for example, pushing yourself beyond your abilities, working hard, harder than others, persistence, refusal to give up, setting difficult and attainable goals, just like weight loss and lifestyle fitness. I was talking about how our emotions will definitely determine the way we approach our goals. And I will be posting the link of that discussion that I did yesterday. Bouncing back from performance setbacks. If we have failed before, what are the things that we could do to get back on track? Internal motivation to succeed. We really have to have that internal motivation to succeed, whether that is in bringing back our discipline, a little bit more structure to our day, et cetera, et cetera. At the end of the day, it's all about loving what we do. Anything that goes outside of that and enjoyment will not be helpful for us to succeed in our in any goals that we have, whether that's getting gold medals or losing weight. So I just want to make sure that we understand that enjoyment is part of our motivation. Coping with pressure. Do we cope effectively with adversity? Do we stay calm under pressure? We accept that anxiety is inevitable, meaning it is expected. So we just have to enjoy it. Easy said than done, but we teach how our athletes and those who'd like to succeed do that in a way that is acceptable to everyone and enjoyable. Making quick decisions under pressure, thriving under pressure, maintaining focus and effort under pressure. And then, the other part, the third pillar, is all about attentional focus, concentration, remaining totally focused on the task. If the task is about wellness or weight loss, how do you focus and not get distracted on the task that you have to do? And so we'll have some tricks and tips on that is based on neuroscience. I'll provide links for that as well. Not being distracted by events surrounding the performance of the task, not being distracted by personal events, remaining in control despite unexpected, uncontrollable events. And the last but not the least of the pillars is self confidence, self belief, having an unshakable belief in your ability to achieve your goals, and believing that you have unique qualities that will allow you to succeed, believing that you can overcome obstacles placed in your way. So, I talked about what is emotion yesterday. It's a conscious mental reaction that is subjectively experienced by us as a strong feeling, usually directed toward a specific object, and typically accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. That's quite a mouthful as a definition, but I will uh, what you call that break it down as we move forward with the definition, make it real for you. Everybody has their own definition of emotion, but this is the standard definition of emotion. I also talk about that what causes emotion, thoughts, images, and labels will trigger an emotion. And again, I will reference the training that I had yesterday that I talked about discussing this. I think this is a great picture to just remind you guys. I covered this yesterday as well. This is the Schachter's and Singer's two-factor theory. Just really a basic science that says that when we see a stimulus that causes physical arousal, our heart rate increases. And if that stimulus is more of a threat, just like seeing a bear, we cognitively label the physical response and associate that with an emotion. And so, because that's a threat, and when that is a threat, we feel the emotion, and so the reaction could be a fight or flight response. And so, how do we recognize it? Through voice inflection, word choice, body language, and facial expressions. Again, I covered this yesterday, so I just want to go through this for those of you who have not seen it. It's going to be posted in the link that I will provide. But I think one of the most important discussion that we had yesterday was the theory of emotional wheel. And this is exactly what our teachings to our elite athletes. And again, probably I will be doing a separate presentation just for the emotion wheel. In here, I discussed about an elite athlete has the ability to go inside the zone. And so anything that is outside is of the zone is outside the zone. And what we teach our elite athletes and competitive athletes or anybody who would like to utilize this technique is really to have a recognition of entering the zone. So I guess maybe I could do a quick go through this in application of weight loss and lifestyle fitness. It may sound that this is something that is trivial, but I do believe that pursuing our wellness and whether that is a lifestyle fitness involves a lot more than just thinking of being well, of losing weight, because we have to incorporate quite a bit of our thinking processes, our emotions, the way we label things, uh, our our relationship with ourselves, in our support system, our distraction, etc., etc. So there's a lot that goes with it, and therefore I believe that this kind of teaching is very important and could be used by non-competitive athletes. So if there is a situation, and we just put that situation is our pursuit for lifestyle fitness, maybe you had successes in the past, or maybe failures, or maybe this is the first time that you're doing this. So that will be the situation, right? So it's important to you, okay? And so that's when you naturally, when you are embarking in something that is important to you, or you're being judged, or is that a competition, whether that's a competition with others or yourself, automatically we our thoughts go to the future about the outcome. Maybe we'll fail. Maybe we've failed before, and so we're a little bit more jaded as to how we are going to think about the situation, right? And so when that happens, automatically you go to a nervous emotion. So you can just imagine that a competitive athlete that actually goes with a future thought of, maybe a competitor is better than better than her or him. Automatically that athlete could think about losing, or not doing well, or maybe there must be some sort of like an overconfidence that the athlete may think about winning, being in the podium or winning the event, right? Those are the things that you cannot control, and therefore we train our athletes not to go to that future thoughts. And the reason for that is because when you are in the future thoughts, and there are some things that you cannot control, right? You will elicit fear, anxiety, worry, stress, and the way it will translate in your muscles to be some tightness or conservativeness of your movements. And what we label that with nervous emotion. And when you are nervous, especially when you are nervous in a competitive environment, you will make errors and poor decisions. And that's just the automatic aftermath of being nervous, of being anxious, of being afraid. And then when that happens, automatically that will trigger a snowball effect, which means that when you are making errors and poor decisions, whether that's a second ago, or that was a week ago, or anything in the past, you will have negative things that have happened, and it will just trigger more anxiety, more worries for you, and things like that. It's not going to be positive, in short. And what that happens when you don't like your performance, or that you missed an exercise, or you overate, or you didn't follow your regimen for the day, or you went to the scale and you didn't lose a pound, or and probably gain more, you will have an angry emotion or feeling of frustration, sadness. Some others could be depressed. It doesn't have to be clinically depressed, or maybe wanting to quit, right? So you get it. You get the point of that interaction, right? So, and I was telling yesterday in my previous stream, the reason for all of this outside the zone and inside the zone, and the reason for you to enter the zone is obviously peak performance, right? You want to set yourself up for success. And how do you get in? You get in by recognition, and that is why I started my presentation with the concept of emotion, because emotion will be an indicator of how you are going to determine whether you are outside the zone or inside the zone. It could be your thoughts, the way you're labeling the situation, or the way that you are producing images in your brain, right? So you could just imagine this is not something that can be done once and and forget about it, right? Our athletes and Olympians and competitive athletes are using this almost daily. Every time they practice this every day, they post this in an area where they could see it. So you get it. It's more of a permanence, right? Instilling permanence and not perfection. But you get the discipline that goes with it. So if you are just new in this concept and felt or are feeling that this is something that will be hard, I don't want to use the word hard, but it will definitely take time and practice to make this permanent. So breathing and relaxation techniques is key to you when you enter and recognize that when you are in a situation right away, you should enter the zone. You do breathing and relaxation techniques that I will be teaching as you follow along with my broadcast. I will teach about visual imagery. You should be able to visualize yourself winning. If you cannot visualize yourself winning, that is going to be a problem for the person or for you. You should have, I was talking about an arsenal of self-talk skills. If you keep beating yourself up and not being able to tell yourself that you are positive things about yourself, right? So it's an inventory of yourself that you should be able to tell yourself some positive things, right? So it requires work. And we'll be teaching about that as well. And last but not the least is being confident. And preparation and discipline is the only thing that you can have that will surely help you to be confident. You can never be confident if you are not prepared for the goals that you'll be embarking. So if you're embarking on a lifestyle fitness and wanting to lose weight, you have to be prepared. You have to have some plans, and we'll talk about that as well. And the last one is being carefree, right? You notice that I say carefree and not careless, right? Those are two different terms. Carefree means that you are able to let go, but still enjoy the moment and learn from it, right? Carelessness is a different word. Where carelessness, you are prone to making errors, as we said here in the errors and making poor decisions. So our athletes, we actually teach them the concept and the technique of mistake amnesia, and I hope that I can teach you guys that as well. Anyhow, this is the emotion wheel. I do apologize that I actually go through this so fast. The reason for that is because I would like to bring the topic of self-talk skills today, at least for 5 minutes. And then I will be linking this video to my channel later on. So let me go back to my presentation. I am sorry, I'm not able to see myself when I'm presenting the presentation. I know that I have my aunt from the Philippines, my Tita Christy, Aunt Christy Binoya Soromo. She has been my inspiration. So hello, Philippines. Thank you for watching. I also have my dear friend Jerry Scribner or Evelyn Scribner. I know these are good friends of mine, and they're also into wellness. So thank you for watching as well. So this emotion wheel, as I was talking about, is a powerful technique that sports psychologists use to coach elite athletes. And I was just talking about how this type of techniques are useful in any endeavors as normal people. You don't have to be an athlete, or you don't have to be in sports to use this technique. I was just telling about outside the zone and inside the zone. So if anyone has not is not familiar with that, and I didn't hear what I said about it, I will definitely put a link to my YouTube channel. What I want to just really cover today briefly is so if you look at being in the zone, there are four pillars, which is one is breathing and relaxation techniques. The reason for that is when your mind is relaxed and when you are not being anxious, and I'm using the word anxious not in a clinical term, but more of a feeling of worries. When your muscles are not relaxed, your mind is not relaxed, most likely you are not going to absorb information. You're not going to think well. So it's very important that you have a way of doing breathing and relaxation techniques. Only when you are relaxed that you are able to absorb information and think well and be successful for the day. So every time you feel that you are getting off track with your wellness goals, there are simple techniques of breathing techniques and relaxation. There's also progressive relaxation or mindfulness exercises. So every time you feel that you are talking negatively, you are having negative self-talk, that is an indication that you are outside the zone. And when you recognize that, you should enter the zone and start with breathing and relaxation. So when our athletes are feeling, beaten up and feeling that they can't make it, or they're already feeling inadequate during the competition or during practices, that is a thinking that they are outside the zone. So they automatically know that they have to calm their muscles. A while ago, I was showing the Schachter's and Singer's theory that, when that happens, when we feel that there is a threat or a stimulus of arousal, our heart rate increases. And when that happens, you can't think well. And there is a science behind that. So, what I want to present real quick here is the concept of breathing and relaxation. I just want to quickly show you guys what that looks like. Again, if you're having some, in general, anxiety, whether that's clinical or non-clinical, feelings of worries and stuff, you really have to go inside the zone. The zone is something that everyone can use. It's not just athletes. It's not just someone with a goal of wellness or lifestyle fitness, right? You don't have to be. You could be a mom. You could be an employee, and so you see the point. So let me just share my screen again, and I'll tell you. So the next. This one, I have this one. All right. Let me know if you are seeing this. Lucille, are you seeing this one?
Oh, presentation.
All right. Okay, so this is the five self-talk skills. Self-talk skills that we teach our athletes. Obviously, there are much more that can be taught to our athletes. Again, for those of you who have not heard about my work and who I am Dr. Arlene Strugar. I'm actually a sports psychology, cognitive psychology, and health psychology consultant. I am affiliated with Mental Training Inc. It's a Dallas-based company. We are proud of what we do. We are a group of Olympic and sports psychologists, and we provide training to elite athletes, including Olympians. So I'd like to share quickly what I was talking about, right? So what are those positive self-talk skills, right? Well, things like you have to be able to rephrase positively. Don't think about a pink elephant. If I say to you, think of a pink elephant, the first thing that comes up in your mind is to think about a pink elephant in the room. So that is just a quick test that don't think about losing, right? Because if you tell an athlete, for example, that you are not, don't think about losing, automatically, the word losing is going to be part of the imagery, right? So you have to be able to rephrase that positively and say, you are prepared for this. So you have to do your best because you have prepared for this competition. So if you're trying to lose weight and be fit, right? Don't think about. Um, I just said that, right? So you don't think about losing or not being able to lose weight, right? So you have to use not to use the word don't, but you have to be able to rephrase and use it more positively, because the brain focuses on objects, especially when you use the word don't, automatically, that creates a negative whenever. So that's the key. Whenever you hear the word don't, that's already what you call a setup for a negative self-talk. So if I say don't drop the ball is negative, right? So you should say catch the ball. That's it. That's positive, right? You see that? Don't drop the ball. That's negative statement, right? So you should say catch the ball. That's positive. State what you want and not what you don't want, right? So if you want to lose weight and you have some weight numbers that you'd like to achieve, you should state that I would like to lose 15 pounds, and not the other way around and say, I have, I don't want to gain 15 more pounds, right? So there's already that difference of versus I would like to lose 15 pounds versus I don't want to gain 15 pounds, right? So you get the point there. So awareness, then rephrase as ideal and leads to confidence and focus. Obviously, easier said than done, but I want to kind of like put it out there that this is something that is being taught when you are an elite athlete. And minimize the importance, right? So that you don't have to be that nervous about it. Just another competition, even though it's very important for you. And the reason for that is because you want to calm your nerves, right? So just like also with losing weight and being fit, right? If you have done that before and you have won and lose and gain weight, lose the weight, things like that, and you're nervous about embarking in this charter again, just say just another goal of losing weight, right? So you don't have to make it so important that that is the preoccupation of your mind, right? So you get it, right? So minimize the importance. It's no more important than any other. The outcome is not totally controllable by you, so temporarily make it not important. What's important is preparation, right? I want to emphasize that. What's important is preparation, the strategy and emotion control, right? This seems to be a little bit more competitive, but as I've said, just be open-minded and think that this is something that you could also use in your lifestyle and fitness goals, right? So minimizing leads to carefree, which leads to peak performance. I was talking about being carefree but not being careless, right? So I'll talk more about that. And the corresponding technique that goes with it is mistake amnesia, right? If you made mistake a second ago, that's in the past. So you should be able to learn how to let go. Underlying premise is challenge and getting valuable feedback to improve your game or your mindset. As a matter of fact, versus play by play, this is something that we teach our athletes where sometimes we forget about the objective versus the actual results of our efforts. So we try to it's a human a natural default that sometimes we tend to put more color into the situation that may not be there. So we want to be more matter of fact versus color. You've had some commentators that actually will tell you more about the subjective, techniques that an athlete does in a game versus the actual score. So you get the point. But I think this is more of a discussion later on. And I think this is very important, right? So you have to have you have to learn how to use the statement "as long as I," because this will give you power and control, and then gives you that feeling of being carefree but not careless, but you're minimizing the importance of your endeavors, even though it's important to you, right? So that's the trick there. So you say, for as long as I know I'm doing everything I can in the moment, right? So those are good statements. For as long as I blah blah blah, and the outcome will be what it is, right? So for as long as I'm doing my program and following it, I can be more successful. So you get it. So that is so the exercise need to know and complete the statement for as long as I blank, right? For as long as I, so you get the point there. I just also want to bring optimism, right? The criticisms are more temporary, compliments are more permanent. Sometimes we reverse it, right? So most of the time, criticisms become more permanent for us, and we forget about the compliments that were given to us. So why don't we reverse it? That will actually promote more optimism in our lives in general, and also if you're an athlete, right? So we definitely this is something big that we teach our athletes. Take responsibility for the good. Believe that good happens often and in many situations. Optimism is highly correlated to health, wellness, and happiness. This will definitely build confidence and motivation. So I went through that so fast, but I think a lot of you maybe have gotten some gist on that presentation. So I will post this link later on. And so today's discussion is about how we are going to utilize emotion control as used by Olympians and elite athletes, especially an understanding of when we are outside the zone and when we are inside the zone. So, inside the zone, right, we're talking about breathing and relaxation techniques. We also talked about, we didn't talk about that today, but I will in our next discussion, visual imagery. I slightly talked about the fact that when we visualize ourselves as winning versus losing, so if you want to lose weight, you have to visualize yourself being more healthier. And there's nothing wrong with visualizing yourself with the weight that you are going to achieve. So if you want to lose 20 pounds, you have to be able to visualize yourself in that 20-pound less person, right? That's not vanity, but it's just part of your visual imagery. Remember, don't have a lot of negative self talk. It will take practice. Don't overanalyze things, right? So, and that is what we're talking about, being more carefree, but not careless. And then we talked about self-talk skills. I just talked to you about, I think what really resonated with me is that criticisms are temporary and compliments are permanent. Sometimes we focus more on the criticisms that others give us versus the compliments that we receive. And obviously, I talked about we have to have an inventory of the self talk skills, positive self talk skills that we have. If you don't have at least one or five of those, you really have to write down what are the things that's good about you. And then you should be able to say that to yourself, right? If you don't have of that, that will be not going to propel you to any growth mindset. And last but not the least, I talked about building confidence, and confidence only comes with preparation, right? And plan. And then the last but not the least is carefree. And again, I would like to contrast carefree with carelessness. So because those are two different things. Carefree for me is about letting go of mistakes. And we talked about that mistake amnesia, which I will be discussing as well. So I think I talked quite fast today because I want to be respectful of your time and be mindful of folks who are, just going home from work or are just finishing work. I know that we have friends, and this will be viewed from many countries of my friends in Australia, my my family somewhere else as well, and my colleagues in different states. So I'd like to thank Pure Trim for their sponsorship in my broadcast. And if you guys have no other questions, I will stay for another a minute. If you have any questions before I adjourn, I could answer that for you as well. All right. So what I'll do is I'm going to post this, and I have promised that I will be opening up this discussion and providing these techniques that are, I don't want to say confidential, but only privileged to our elite athletes and Olympians. I hope that I provided value to you and your friends and family today. If you find this as a valuable information to share, please do so. I do appreciate that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message. I will be providing my YouTube channel and my website as well. Well, thank you, folks. Good morning again to my friends and family in the Philippines, and good evening if you are U.S. In the U.S. Thank you and good night.